G'day guys, this is Rob from Troutlore.com.au, Australia's fly tying specialist store. Today we're tying this out of season October caddis. We're coming into the spooky month, and in the northern hemisphere, especially in the States, they see a lot of these coloured caddis in their streams. We're down here in the southern hemisphere, everything's flipped on its head, but it doesn't mean these don't work. It's just another caddis grub in your arsenal that you can keep in your fly box and fish when the standard colours aren't working. And I know a lot of areas in northeast Victoria where these colours work right throughout the spring and summer. So let's get started. We are coming in with a Goulburn steel 3223 grub hook here in a size 12, and then topping that off with a brass bead, 7/64 of an inch on this one to match the hook. We don't want it too heavy. It's going to be more naturally float around, kick about in the current if we stick with the brass, whereas the tungsten's going to take it right down and sink it straight away. You can tie them with tungsten as well. You get a different result. It'll also put you at a different part in the water column, depending on the depth that you're fishing. Then we're using some Veevus 8/0 thread. We'll just start behind the bead and work that down the thread, trimming off the excess and coming right down into the bottom of the bend. Then for the ribbing, we're using some Veniard thin copper wire in black. So we'll just capture that at the rear and start wrapping forwards, keeping that fairly even along the hook shank, and then wrap back down to that point, putting the wire out of the way. To form the body of this, we are using Upavon's Chadwick 477 substitute. So we are taking a length of this yarn, which is very popular for Sawyer's killer bugs and similar sort of patterns. It has a good caddis colour too as well. So we'll just capture that at the rear, bring the thread forward over it, and then we'll build up a little bit of a taper over that, really cinch that down at the base, and then come to the top here. You just want to run the thread back down and then back up to the bead, and then we'll run down again almost as far, back up to the bead, down again almost as far as where we went last time, and back up to the bead. Going back and forth like this, we're adding more and more to the head of the fly and slowly building out a taper from the tail. So once we've done that, we'll finish with our thread at the eye of the hook. Taking our yarn, we're going to wrap over the top and start wrapping in touching wraps, bringing it up the body. Just make sure that it's evenly spaced and slightly overlapping each other. Once we get up there, we can capture that with the thread, one wrap before, one wrap in front, one behind, one in front again. Trim that out nice and close. And then because we wrapped over with the yarn, we're going to wrap under with our wire so that it runs across the wrap, binding that all down, making fairly close, evenly spaced wraps to create a ribbing up the body. Once we get to the eye of the hook, one wrap in front, one behind, and then one wrap around the thread. That'll allow us to helicopter that off. And then we can start dressing this up. So we're going to put a couple of little wings in there, as this is lighter fly for an emerging style of caddis. And for those wings, we're going to use some Mallard here in the Summer Duck Subs colour. It's a nice orange coloured dye to it. And basically we're just going to take a couple of feathers. This is a good chance to use some of the scrappier feathers that wouldn't actually be used in a lot of your larger flies. And we're just going to preen back the stuff at the bottom and then come into the top here, split it at the top and pull one side down. That's going to give us one wing. Now we need to do the reverse on another feather. So again, we'll come in, preen back the fluffy stuff and strip that out like so. And because we peeled off the right hand side on that first one, we're going to peel off the left hand side on this one. And we can just trim out that excess up there. And that gives us a pair of wings. From that, we'll come right in to where the fibre meets the stem as close as we can, trim that off, and that pinch down makes our wing. We take the other one, right up to where the fibre and the stem meet, trim that out, and that makes our opposing wing. We want the wings to sit with the stem up and the curved underside. So we'll do the near one first. Take it like so, pinch that all up. We'll just do one loose wrap around to pinch that in, and you can see it brings it in nicely and creates that little curved wing. And we take the other one on the far side and one loose wrap around. We go over with one more loose wrap to lock that into place. And here you can see that we can then just pull that excess out and pull them both up so we can shorten those wings so they're not covering the whole body, and so that they're evenly spaced. And then we want to angle them down so that they go down and fill that gap in the gape slightly. Once we've done that, we can pull it all back, one wrap, two wraps behind, and lock that thread off, and come in, trim out the excess. That gives us our two little wings in there, nicely sitting down beneath where the hook shank sits. And to finally dress this up, a little bit of hollow dub in the dark caddis from Upavon. We need just the tiniest amount for this. So we're just going to get a fine noodle on our thread. I'm going to wrap over those loose stubs of the Mallard. Get rid of that little bit sticking out. And probably reduce the amount of dubbing on that thread there. We don't need quite so much. And once we've wrapped over finally, just preen it back slightly with our fingers. Out comes the whip finisher. And just force that thread in between the bead and the dubbing. Pays to take your time. Trim that thread out. Just take our dubbing brush and give that a good scruff. Preen those fibres back, run it down the back, and we'll pick out some of the fibres from the yarn as well. which will create a nice veiled look. And there you have it. That is our out of season October Caddis Grub. Easy little fly to tie. You don't have to put the wings on, but it does give it a little bit more realistic look. You can go with the darker bead as well. Use a black bead if you don't want it as flashy. I think the copper color works quite nicely for this time of year. Fish it in the shallower streams, fish it in the deep water as a point fly, it's going to catch fish. As always, the material list for this fly is down there in the description. Once again, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Come back next week, we'll have more videos for you. And as always, happy tying.